How do I explain to my boyfriend that not buying me a boba feels like another sign of his inconsiderate behavior? Okay, so it's not just boba. Let me preface it with that. It's a million little things and some way bigger ones. We moved in together 6 months ago. Things are normally chill. We get along. We can hang. However, I feel like he doesn't think of me. I ask him to do the dishes. He will leave them for 3 or 4 days molding in the sink until finally my roommate or I do it because it's nasty and has to be done. There's no forks. I will ask him over and over again and he just won't do it. I work from home and he works outside of the house, so I have more wiggle room to do chores, so I do more chores. I figured he would compensate by pulling more weight in another area. For instance, he makes 3x the salary that I do, 3 times. But he wants me to pay 50-50 on our dates, which would be fine if I didn't buy and cook most of our at-home meals and also do the majority of the chores. That's not fair. That's not 50-50. He also doesn't pay any of my rent or bills. When I brought this up to him the first time, he didn't believe that I did that much for him. He thought we did equal chores and food buying. I had to start sending him literal receipts and have him compare each of our contributions. I also started sending him lists of things I did every day so that he would know what I had done and I had records too. I thought maybe he really didn't know, and maybe he would change his attitude and pick up more slack in other areas, but nope. He still wants to go half size with money, and does more chores now, but certainly not half. For example, he put laundry in the wash but then asked me to do the folding, the most labor-intensive part of laundry, and he will buy groceries and cook. But he makes maybe 1 meal for my 4, and he will get takeout for us at least once a week, which I know is more expensive. But that's the cost of not putting the labor in to cook it yourself. Since I put my labor in for my food and he didn't, it's 1 meal of mine is equal to 1 meal of his, in my opinion. But he says, since takeout costs more money, it counts as multiple of my home-cooked meals, which I don't think is fair. Anyways, I recently bought a lot of groceries. I cooked meals and he ate 5 of them. He also drank all of my bottles of alcohol and the sodas and juice I bought. Then he asked me out to boba, the day after I cooked him dinner and he finished off my alcohol. And he had me pay for my own boba. It was $6. And when he bought his own, he didn't tip. This man makes 6 figures. I'm feeding him with the food I bought using food stamps. And he invited me on a date and made me pay. After eating my food and drinking my drinks, I don't know how to explain to him that him not paying for a boba pissed me off. I don't know how to explain why I feel like this is just another sign on the highway of consistent disrespect. Every time I try to explain this to him, his solution is to just stop doing things for each other. But in my opinion, that's not a partnership. That's a bad roommate who wants sex. My other roommate who travels for work and has maybe been at home half the time my boyfriend has cleaned the kitchen more time than my BF has by a significant amount. And on top of that, I had a break to grab coffee in between work sessions. I told him that I had 3 minutes before I had to go back. He chose right then to ask me why I was upset with him. Like, I just told you I have 3 minutes before returning to work. Why would he ask me a serious question and expect an answer right then? Like, I just told you I'm on a time crunch. I feel like this kind of thing happens a lot. It's small, it's subtle, but it's also big. I just don't think he considers others. Edit. We live in a 3-bedroom and we each pay for our respective rooms splitwise. Yes, we each have our own rooms. I like my girly space and he snores. We split utilities evenly. I do not pay for his rent and he does not pay for mine. Even. Edit. I confronted him. He told me he never asked me to fold the laundry, that I just did that on my own. When I insisted he did say that, his reply was, well, that doesn't seem like something I'd do. Next, he said I was trying to hurt him by implying he has an alcohol problem and that he, in fact, did take care of the dishes. So I showed him the dirty dishes just sitting there and he said, okay, if I didn't do it, I meant to. I do all these other things, but you're mad about the one thing I forgot. Y'all, I wish I was making this up. This is literal gaslighting, isn't it? I showed him the dirty dishes and he had the stomach to say if he didn't do it. After that, he started talking about how I've hurt him too before. And when I said we could talk about that after we addressed this, he refused to speak to me anymore. If anyone is looking for a roommate, I cook and clean